Everyone tells you to hire a sales team to grow. They're wrong. In fact, hiring too early is the fastest way to kill your margins before you ever hit 100k MRR. Most founders treat hiring like a growth lever, but without the right systems, a new hire isn't an asset, they're a liability. I've analyzed dozens of bootstrapped SaaS companies that scaled from $10k to $100k MRR without burning through VC cash. The pattern is always the same. The winners didn't hire faster, they systemized better. In this video, I'm breaking down the exact operational shifts you need to make to scale. We're covering the anti-hiring sequence, what to automate first, how to use tools like HubSpot to replace a full-time SDR, and exactly when you actually need to bring on your first employee. By the end of this, you'll have a blueprint to 10x your revenue while keeping your overhead lean. Let's dive in. You've hit 10k MRR. The product market fit is there. You can feel the momentum. But there's a problem. You're exhausted. You're the salesperson, the support agent, and the developer all in one. Most founders do the same thing here. They think the solution is more hands on deck. You hire a sales rep to close leads, a VA to handle emails, a project manager to organize the chaos. But here is the cold, hard truth. If your process is broken, hiring doesn't fix it. It just scales the chaos. Now, instead of focusing on growth, you're spending 4 hours a day in Slack. You're managing people who don't know what to do because you haven't documented how to do it. Your burn rate is climbing. Your margins are shrinking. You're no longer a founder building a product. You've become a full-time manager of a dysfunctional team. This is the growth trap. You're chasing 100k MRR, but you're building a fragile house of cards. One bad hire or one slow month, and the whole thing collapses under its own weight. You don't have a people problem, you have a systems problem. And if you don't fix the system before you add the people, you aren't scaling. You're just accelerating your way to bankruptcy. The secret to scaling isn't more people, it's more systems. Most founders treat hiring as a growth lever. It's not. Hiring is an expense that increases your complexity. To hit 100k MRR without burning your margins, you need the system-first sequence. You don't hire to solve a growth problem. You build a system to solve the growth problem, and then you hire someone to run that system. Phase 1, the data foundation, 10k to 30k MRR. At this stage, your biggest risk is guessing. You think you have a churn problem, but you actually have an onboarding problem. You can't scale what you can't measure. You need a single source of truth. This is where tools like ChartMogul become non-negotiable. Stop using spreadsheets to track your revenue. You need to see your LTV and CAC in real time. When you know exactly where your revenue is leaking, you don't need a sales team to fix it. You need a product tweak. Fix the leak before you turn up the faucet. Phase 2, the automation layer, $30k to 60k MRR. Now you hit founder fatigue. You're the salesperson, the support agent, and the developer. You're the bottleneck. Your goal here is to move your brain into a tool. This is the time to implement a robust CRM like HubSpot. But don't just use it as a contact list. Use it to build your playbooks. Map out every single touchpoint, from the first lead magnet to the final invoice. If you can't map the process in a CRM, you can't delegate it to a human. You are building a machine. The software is the blueprint. Phase 3, the strategic hire, 60k to 100k MRR. Now and only now do we talk about hiring, but here is the twist. Do not hire a VP of sales. Hire a customer success manager or an ops lead first. Why? Because at this stage, retention is your primary growth engine. If you pour more leads into a leaky bucket, you're just wasting money. You need someone to ensure every single user gets a massive win within 48 hours of signing up. Once the bucket is sealed, you scale the team, and don't limit yourself to your local zip code. Use a platform like Oyster HR to hire global talent. You get elite-level operators without the Silicon Valley overhead. This keeps your margins fat and your agility high. That is the sequence: data first, automation second, people third. Now here's the reality. You can't scale what you can't measure. That's why I use ChartMogul. It gives you the exact churn and growth metrics you need to know asterisk when asterisk to actually hire. Once the leads start flooding in, don't use a spreadsheet. Use HubSpot. It's the gold standard for automating your pipeline so you can stay lean while growing fast. And when you finally hit that trigger point to hire globally, handles the compliance and payroll so you don't spend $10,000 on international lawyers. By stacking these three tools, I've managed to keep my operational overhead under 20% while pushing toward that 100k mark. If you want to systemize your scale and stop guessing, I've put the links to all three in the description. Grab them there and start building your engine.